Well, I say morning, peace and blessings. All right, so yeah, part two of the Ketu was detoxification. Rahu was intoxication video. Um, so yeah, let's get into the Rahu portion, right? So what is the reason? This is the question I'm gonna ask. What is the reason anybody would want to get intoxicated? You know, Rahu being the intoxication. What is the reason anybody would want to pursue the Rahu? What is the reason anybody would want to get drunk, drink some Don Julio or some 1800, Paul Masson, whatever the fuck motherfuckers be drinking, right? Or not even just alcohol, liquor for that matter. What is the reason somebody would want to smoke or do some cocaine or some crack or methamphetamine, some shrooms? You feel me? All the different drugs that are offered out there in drug land or whatever the fuck y'all motherfuckers be doing, right? What is the reason behind it? You know, what is the purpose? Why would somebody want to alter their normal waking sense of perception? And what is to be gained during the alteration of these states of consciousness, right? So it's many reasons. You know what I'm saying? It's many different reasons. Some people want to, go to the bottle or pick up the blunt. You're trying to escape a sadness of some sort, or maybe a real life problem that they don't necessarily have the answer to. Want to relieve stress. Want to relieve the mind's ability to sometimes get caught up within itself. Want to de-stress the mind, de-stress the body, relieve the self. That's one reason, right? Some people use it to become even happier. Maybe you want to party and, maybe the dopamine levels are already elevated, already having a good time, and maybe you want to go higher. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to do some cocaine, who knows? Some E-pills, you feel me? But it's another reason to bring more happiness. What is another reason? Some people do it for spiritual experimentation or exploration. You want to gain more knowledge, more wisdom. You want to enter alternate states of consciousness and communicate with different gods and celestials and beings and all that extra shit or whatever. It's many different reasons as to why people pursue drugs or intoxicants. But all in all, the intoxicant or the drug induces an alternate state of consciousness that's kind of used as like a bridge or a vehicle to arrive to a certain state or destination. Even if it's just used for medicinal purposes, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to arrive to a state of health, a state of completion. And that is one thing that can be said about Rahu as well. It definitely can bring, or it can instill a great sense of healing into the body, into the mind, into the psyche, into the being as well. We know Rahu for being chaotic. We know Rahu for being all of this bad shit that, astrology people just want to prescribe to Rahu, but it really has a healing element and factor about it. And if you think about it, what nakshatra represents the 100 healers? Shah to be Shah, ruled by Rahu himself. You feel me? And that's exactly what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like let me slow it down. Okay, so Rahu having the healing potentiality, having the healing ability, being the one who is able to kind of take you on a shamanic journey, if you will. And excuse me, it sounds kind of weird, right? Because it's like, oh, well, Ketu is supposed to be the spiritual one, right? Ketu is the one who is supposed to be the, the yogi or the monk or the meditator or the one who's seeking moksha and yada, 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 etc., which is also true. But you have to remember, they're one and the same. They're one and the same being, just operating from two sides of the spectrum and whatnot. And while Rahu does have a certain level of contact with the material world, it also plays within the spiritual scenario as well. And the same is to be said for Ketu. You feel me? Now, while I would say Rahu can be related to the shamanic journey, you feel me? When you're doing shrooms, or when you're on a shamanic journey, you feel me? Or when you're entering unfamiliar states of consciousness and spirituality, it can be quite frightening. It can be quite exhilarating. It can be quote unquote demons or shadows, around certain corners or lurking within your psyche that you might not necessarily want to confront or address, right? You got to think about terms like dark night of the soul, you feel me, or shadow work, right? These are concepts of Rahu. You know what I'm saying? That the darkness, the shadow side of the self, the dark side of the mind, yada, 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 etc., which definitely have an unignorable presence within spirituality or spiritual concepts itself, right? So it's not to be completely cut off or disrelated from spiritual functions. Rahu definitely is a spiritual entity, and you got to think about it. Rahu deals with the occult. It deals with unseen matters. It deals with foreign, hidden, super intelligence, if you want to call it, right? So by default, it's going to reference, spiritual things as well or whatnot. I'm just trying to clear up some of the myths or generalizations in relation to, Rahu for this particular video. But I do this quite often when it comes to most astrological classifications, right? But yeah, getting to it, Rahu, right? So back to the intoxication part. So drugs, intoxicants can be used for healing. They can be used for pleasure, relaxation, rehabilitation, de-stressing the body, de-stressing the mind, yada, 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 etc. But they can also introduce, you feel me, especially when the wrong substances are used, or especially when the substances are used in excess, they can signify addiction or dependency on a particular substance in order to function properly or to feel like you're sane, right? So they can signify addiction, poison, the drug or the intoxicant or the whatever it is. It begins to destroy you. It begins to deteriorate the health of whoever that particular person is, Fat Joe or whoever the fuck is on drugs or whatever. I'm gonna look that up. I don't know why I just thought about that nigga's name. But addiction, disease, deterioration of health, what else? Scattered of consciousness, always feeling like you're not fulfilled, always feeling like, you might be jittery or not able to be calm, not able to be equanimous within your own mind, not able to be at rest. You feel me? Always feeling like there's something else to eat, there's something else to swallow, there's something else to consume, there's something else to chase. And that's where the Rahu being the head concept comes from. He's just a head without a body to actually digest and be content with what the head eats. You know what I'm saying? You just keep eating, keep swallowing, keep consuming. And it's like the satisfaction doesn't arrive. So that's also a representation or something that Rahu showcases and whatnot, right? And I would say one of the major functions of Rahu is really providing the solution of what Ketu lacks. You know what I'm saying? So Ketu, as I was saying in the other video, Ketu is about detoxification, right? So in the detoxification process, you're going to have to deny yourself of a certain thing, a certain food, a certain intake. It's deny, let go of it, right? And, be more recluse, meditative, be more seeking to shed the false senses of self, the false identities that you've accumulated surrounding a particular area of life or a particular thing, to shed the dualities, the illusions. You're not looking to go anywhere or explore outward anywhere. It's like an involution. You're looking to drop all the bullshit towards to when you can get to the ultimate within, if there be such a thing, right? But Rahu helps destroy some of the illusions of Ketu by basically exploring alternate illusions, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of crazy. It's like, I don't know, if a person got a left butt cheek addiction for some reason, from like if a person is addicted to the left butt cheek of Norwegian fat bitches or something like that, it's like, you log into his computer and you block all of the, the triple X websites that display those type of beings or whatever, right? And you replace that content with maybe engineering books or courses or classes or alternate illusions that are more constructive, things that he might not necessarily be too familiar with, things that he might not be an expert in, you feel me? But nonetheless, things that can take his mind and attention away from the illusion that he had a dramatic problem with. Rahu can serve in that function or whatever. Cultivating the area of Rahu can help you strengthen your individuality in a different way to de-strengthen or weaken the incorrect individual identification that you've built up over various lifetimes in another area, if that makes sense. So yeah, I know this I'll be kind of rambling and shit on these videos. I hope this shit kind of makes sense, but all in all, Rahu is not to be the evil or corrupt or, all of these dark attributes that we like to attach to this planet as, people make it out to be. It's really like, I would say you can most attribute it to like shamanism or the shamanic journey. Yes, it's dangerous. Yes, it's dark aspects of the consciousness. Yes, there are people who spiritually prey upon other people. There are trickster spirits, familiar spirits, wicked motherfuckers, warlocks, con artists, tricksters. It's evil archetypes, for lack of a better word, all over and whatnot, right? And this is this shit just came back to my memory. So this is kind of also what I see Rahu as. You know what I'm saying? When you think about how white people came over and pretty much colonized the quote unquote New World, right? They came over, met up with the Native Americans, being the peaceable and the amicable peoples that they are. Pretty much, some of them at least, right? Not all of them, but a good number of sets of Native Americans welcome them with open arms, try to put them on certain types of ways to properly live on the land and coexist amongst everybody. It wasn't a racial discrimination type thing. And, pretty much we're just trying to be good people, they're good brothers on the planet of Earth, and show them niggas how to live. But, the white people came over, they introduced diseases and concepts of thinking that were pretty much foreign, very much so foreign, very much so not understood, and very much so caused great casualty and great corruption upon the American lands, right? Brought the blankets over. I don't even know how true that story is, but they said they brought blankets over and wiped out a large portion of the Native Americans through biological warfare. You feel me? Introduce fiat concepts. Which fiat was already around before that. I ain't even gonna get into that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, introduce different European concepts of bullshitting or whatever into the populace, and the people pretty much weren't familiar with it. They weren't ready for it, and they succumbed to it greatly. So this is kind of like I call it the vaccine concept. You introduce a little bit of the vaccine, you introduce a little bit of the disease that you're trying to prevent into the body so that the body can become familiarized with the code of the disease. You know what I'm saying? So that the body can fight it off in a weakened state, so that it can understand this is the programming. These are the defenses that we need to build in order to protect ourselves from this programming, so that when the disease tries to introduce itself through a different mechanism, the body is already prepared and understands what it's looking at, what to do, does not let it bypass, you feel me, the detection systems of the body, or does not let it, you feel me, seep deep into the tissues, into the organism in order to take over and cause total chaos, right? So the vaccine, right, it has a bit of the disease, or it has a bit of the pathogen, the sickness, whatever you want to call it, encoded in the vaccine solution. So it can pretty much give the body time to prepare and know how to fight this shit off. That's Rahu, if that makes sense. Rahu is the vaccine. Rahu is introducing to you a different form of darkness that your soul might not necessarily be familiar with, but is only introducing this particular thing to you so that your being, your body, your consciousness can digest it, you know what I'm saying, and pretty much shadow work with this dark entity, darkness, dark thing, whatever you want to call it, right? So that you can develop the solution within yourself, so that you can come with the formula yourself as to how do I cleanse, purge, detect this particular disorder and not become a victim of it. You know what I'm saying? Not let this shit override the psyche or whatever you want to call it. That's the functionality of Rahu. You know what I'm saying? This is why Rahu can be very much so a healer as well. You know, this is why snake venom, even though it's originally a poison, it can be greatly used to heal. You know what I'm saying? Different conditions and different diseases and different things of this nature. Scorpion venom, the same way. You feel me? Stuff that can be poisonous in one way, when intelligently applied and intelligently used upon the body, upon the system or whatever, it can rapidly and greatly improve the health condition of the mind, body, soul of a particular person. So this, you know what I'm saying, is another one of the functionalities of Rahu as well, Velocity Mooney. If I happen to get more information, you know what I'm saying, just in a meditation or just walking throughout the day or some shit like that, I'll definitely follow up with a part 3, or however many parts I follow up with. Velocity.